Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'd like to take a closer look at a mathematical equation to solve every problem that is 100% within our control. It's a really very simple equation that uses the performance equation and a special teaching tool that I created that simply identified all the pieces of the puzzle, so now I can use the piece numbers from that puzzle as part of my equation. And then you can look at my equation and look at my schematic where I identified all the pieces and see if it logically makes sense. Remember, there's two tests we have to pass in order to use logic. The first test we always give everybody is, does it have the right structure? Is it going the right direction? Are we guilty of putting the cart before the horse, as does most of the systems in charge do, which is one of the main reasons why I created this special teaching tool. I also created it because I wanted to come up with an equation to solve all of our problems. Now think about what I'm proposing here, my gosh. An equation to solve every problem that's 100% within our control. This should be headline news, right? Let's make this go viral, right? It's better than E equals MC squared, right? Of course, because this solves all of our problems that are within our control. And that simple equation would be, using my piece numbers, 22 to 35. And that represents two groups of needs. So there's knowledge of how to live and knowledge of how to adapt. Two groups of needs. It has to do with knowledge. 22 to 35, and then that's going to be limited by, or divided by, 21 main problems of knowledge. Remember, the number one problem of knowledge, we don't have the knowledge we need to solve our problems, otherwise we wouldn't have so many problems. And the number one reason why we can't find that piece of the puzzle, why we can't find the knowledge we need, because we have false knowledge in its place. And that really gets in trouble because we can't learn anything when we think we already know. And then there are 19 obstacles, or 19 reasons why we don't know. So those are the 21 main problems of knowledge. And they can keep us from finding the knowledge, and they can also keep us from applying the knowledge. So these willingness factors can not only strike twice, but we can actually enhance our belief system and therefore our performance and get better results whenever we can turn something where we're unwilling into something where we are willing. So we can turn an obstacle into a facilitator. So the willingness factors, in a way, affect us three times. They get in our way twice. They can keep us from finding the knowledge we need by going through that first doorway. 7 willingness factors in there, main willingness factors. And then knowledge is worthless unless we apply. So once we get up there and find the knowledge we need, remember, we're down here with the false knowledge. This is where piece number 2 is. Piece number 1, the knowledge we need. There's a doorway where we have 19 obstacles, pieces 3 to 21. 12 source of false knowledge, 7 willingness factors. So those 7 willingness factors can keep us from finding the knowledge we need, but then they strike twice as pieces 51 to 57. That's in the next doorway we have to go through to solve our problems. It's between the plus A box of knowledge and the plus B box of actions. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Ultimate Schematic, especially my latest update, and I show you my special teaching tool. 6 simple boxes, 3 stages of knowledge, and in addition to knowledge, there are problems of knowledge, and that's what's in these doorways. So the solution to our problems, pieces 22 to 35, that's up there in the plus A box of knowledge, that's limited by pieces 1 to 21, piece 1, the knowledge we miss in, piece 2, the false knowledge we have in its place, the 19 obstacles in its way, and also we're going to be limited by those pieces 51 to 60 that are in the next doorway. And then all of that is going to be multiplied by those 7 willingness factors one more time, pieces 51 to 57. So that's the equation. 22 to 35 divided by, or limited by, 1 to 21 and 51 to 60, all that times 51 to 57. That's it. That's a simple solution. That's all we have to do. Now the big problem, of course, is that we don't have the knowledge of how to live. And those who have that usually don't have knowledge of how to adapt, so when they present their story, they don't know how to do it explicitly enough to not make them look like idiots, which some of them do, darn it. It's frustrating to see these guys ruin a good message because they don't understand that there are 3 ways to screw up the law of cause and effect. And I did a special video on that. I'll put a link down below if you want to go look at that. But what we need to understand is that there really is a simple solution. We got to satisfy our needs. Most of us don't have the knowledge to do that. And then the problem there is, even if we get it, we're not willing to apply it. So there's really only one thing we have to do. We got to satisfy those 2 groups of needs I told you about, pieces 22 to 35. But most of us weren't able to do that, so that's why I added 2 preliminary steps to the only thing we have to do, and thereby perfecting the 3-step process. That's why I always say, click down below to the first step. That's a solid food vacation. That's where we're willing to do something on a temporary basis so we can see what we're missing and put an end to this madness. The problem is if you just tell people to correct these 5 main mistakes, most of them aren't going to believe they're all mistakes, and most of them aren't going to want to correct them all. But if you just do something on a temporary basis, it's going to be one of the most exciting things you've ever done. How do I know that? Because I've done it over 1,200 days in the last 24 years. I've coached thousands of people. You can read the comments in my YouTube section, on my YouTube video, and you can see the comment section of these people doing this and still releasing the serpent. There's a reason why we suffer as a species. 2 main contributing factors that all tie back to the fall of mankind, the very first of the big mistakes we made, the cooking of our food. It created a serpent within us, and it destroyed the coherent sunlight energy that we need to feel one with everything. This is why we struggle. It's why it's the #1 problem in knowledge that's in that doorway. And remember, there's only one way to deal with all these problems of knowledge, and that's simply to test an idea's time has come. That's where you go down and look at the description box below. Do the first of my 3-step process, and when you do, I guarantee you're in for a treat.